Puerto Rico's water issues are complex.
No, yo compro agua de botella. El agua no es, yo encuentro que no es confiable.
¿Y la calidad del agua? ¿Contamina a veces?
Pues tengo un filtro, tú sabes, para por lo menos limpiar un poco el agua, porque pues...
Unfortunately, there's sort of a mix of issues in Puerto Rico, where you have infrastructure that's supposed to treat the water before it gets to your tap, not really being up to snuff, and some of the discharges and the pollution also being a problem.
Violations by water utilities combined with industrial pollution go back decades, and it's left many Puerto Ricans feeling like enough isn't being done to protect them from unsafe water.
I think that in many programs, Puerto Rico doesn't get the resources that other jurisdictions get. Certainly, we're not seeing environmental compliance as we should.
With such a long history of water problems and a struggling infrastructure, is enough being done to safeguard Puerto Rico's water?
This is about 33 acres of toxic waste that has been here for a couple of decades, and this is one of the EPA Superfund sites.
In the case of the Barceloneta landfill, it used to be a landfill where many hazardous waste were disposed from the 1970s until the 1990s. This is another case that the monitoring goes on for more than 30 years, and then right now at this moment, based on the 5-year reviews that have been conducting, there hasn't been any migration from contamination at that specific area.
But advocates point out that even as sites undergo decades-long cleanups, poorer communities are often left to contend with living near these Superfund sites.
There is someone living over there. It seems to be an active community.
And that's one of the elements of environmental injustice, right? The overburdening of communities that are poor, Afro-descendant.
Know that Puerto Rico has had a history of a lot of violations of the basic health standards for drinking water. There have been Clean Water Act violations. These are violations for discharges into surface waters. They've been occurring on and off for a while.
In Puerto Rico, the EPA is tasked with enforcing the Clean Water Act and overseeing local enforcement of the Safe Drinking Water Act.
EPA has a number of different enforcement strategies or enforcement tools when there are violations. Then there's additional processes that we could take additional actions at the civil arena or also at the criminal component if we understand that it entails a criminal violation.
And many industries contribute to the pollution problem. The EPA administrator recently visited a coal-fired power plant accused of polluting in Puerto Rico. A broad search of water violations from the EPA's website shows that in Puerto Rico, hundreds of industrial facilities have had water violations in the past 3 years.
Most common violations, of course, are failure to test the water and failure to report on what problems are occurring with the water. So that's very common. But unfortunately, that's not it. There are a lot of health-based violations. They range from contamination with bacteria to failure to treat the water in accordance with EPA's rules, some chemical contamination problems.
There's not a lot of enforcement, and when there is, it's like a slap on the wrist. It's minimal fines, not enough to really provide an incentive for the companies, pharmaceutical and otherwise, to clean up or to avoid, to prevent polluting the water. There have been budget cuts to all the government agencies, including environmental quality and protection agencies. And quite frankly, the administrations we've had for a very long time have not had the political will to enforce or to staff those agencies.
Living in Puerto Rico, you kind of learn to roll with the punches, unfortunately. There's a word that has become hated here, which is like the idea of resiliency, because resiliency means that you don't depend on the government to do their job, you just survive.
But experts believe other things may be at play, like Puerto Rico's status as a U.S. territory and not a state.
The status issue definitely has an impact on the application of laws, the enforcement of laws, the resources for environmental protection.
And since 2016, a financial oversight and management board has overseen all financial decisions for the government of Puerto Rico.
When you look at the kind of like last 15 years and the debt crisis that ensued, you'll see that even if you walk out of here right now, buildings are in disrepair. There hasn't been an investment in Puerto Rico for a long time.
We need both the local and territorial government to step up, and when that's not happening, we need the federal government to step in and make sure that enforcement is occurring.
We've been advocating and talking to Puerto Rico legislators, educating them around the issue. We drafted the resolution in a kind of moderate way, saying, we see a problem, we think you should look into it.
The Biden-Harris administration set aside $6 billion to rebuild the nation's water infrastructure. And on April 4th, the EPA announced that over $62 million will go to making essential drinking water infrastructure upgrades in Puerto Rico.
We have a historic investment opportunity for water infrastructure in the Caribbean. This is an environmental justice issue that is a priority for our regional administrator and for EPA Administrator Regan.
You know, clean water is just so essential, so basic. It's so common sense to actually be able to have clean, good quality water coming out of your tap instead of hauling plastic bottles all over the place and creating all this plastic waste.
Puerto Rico cannot continue to be the place where the U.S. extracts wealth and harms people, because that's just wrong.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.